I have to just get this out of my head. I have been very emotional this morning. Not crying, just feeling like on the verge of emotion all morning. And I've had some kind of gut-wrenching ahas about myself and about who I am in the world. And I've been reading this book that friend David Corbin told me to read. And many of you know some of the things that have been going on in my world, and I've been doing these videos and what I'm hearing about that God's telling me about and sharing and laying in front of me so that I can see. And I've ripped out some strongholds, and I've knocked down some idols, and I've broken some behaviors that served me at one time that are no longer serving me. And I was led to something yesterday that kind of had me drop my jaw on the floor, and I realized that my relationships that I've had have all been affected by it. I'm a beautiful woman. I'm smart. I'm talented. I love very deeply. And yet I started reading this book, and I realized that tragic language, tragic thought patterns that have been taught to me, that I've willingly embraced because I didn't know any other way, have not served me properly. And that this book, The Queen's Code, has taken men who were very honorable, wanted to protect me, wanted to be a part of my life, wanted to love me, has caused them to either run or behave in such a way that I didn't want them around anymore. And this last event that occurred, albeit I wouldn't turn it around, I can see where it could have turned around. And now I have an opportunity to move forward in a different way. The Queen's Code is a story about a grandmother whose daughter and granddaughter both have not had good relationships, yet the grandmother has had a fabulous relationship with her husband. And this grandmother has also been working with another woman at the same time, and the granddaughter comes to her because she's so frustrated by the lack of a loving person in her life, a man that could be a part of her world, that she hears something in a conference that takes her down a journey that ends up leading her to her grandmother to ask her how she's had such a good relationship with her husband. And she and this woman, who are being taught by the grandmother, go down this journey of realizing what has happened. And where I get emotional is that we have always put ourselves in a position, we meaning women in this society, have put ourselves in a position that we're getting to do all of these wonderful things, being in business, raising kids, having experiences, many times a lot of which the women of the past haven't had an opportunity to have, and yet wanting their cake and ice cream and being able to eat it all too. And this Queen's Code talks about the fact that we've emasculated our men and unknowingly emasculated them associating them based off of what we know. And this may come as a shock to some people, it may not. But I know that I've had people, even just recently, that have shown up in my life that were like what I was looking for as far as a man goes. And the communication and the thought, too much, not enough, letting things happen the way they were, impatience, it's all there, and it's all my fault. It's my fault that my previous husbands didn't feel that they could be good enough, be strong enough. Because of my thoughts and because of my actions, because of my not listening, thinking that, the fact is I am smart, and smart women can be in loving relationships. It's all inside me. And I recognize that who I am in the moment needs to be here in the moment, and that I need to have ears to listen and realize that men have the reasons that they do the things that they do. Just because a man doesn't answer you right away doesn't mean that they're not thinking about things. And just because a man tells a story for the 20th time doesn't mean that he thinks you're stupid. I'm still reading this book, but it's really opened up a sense of knowingness and learning that I've been craving for a long time. I had an opportunity recently with a gentleman that I care very much about, and I've known him for a long time. And he stated as much, that he cared for me. And I didn't hear. I went along my way that I normally do, communicating and conversing and thinking that that was attractive, and it's not. Because it's not emotionally safe for him, because he's been hurt a lot. God was telling me, just wait, just wait. And I was thinking I was waiting, but I wasn't. And now I may have screwed it all up. And I just have to forgive myself for that. And stay in the moment and cancel any goals that I had. And if he comes back around, I'll be in a better space. If he doesn't, he doesn't. have so taken the harder route, and that's never what I intended. I remember my soon-to-be ex-husband saying to me, even when he was leaving, that I was so beautiful. Beauty doesn't matter if they don't feel like men. Because if they don't feel like men, what does it mean? Doesn't mean anything. I could be drop dead gorgeous and they could hate me. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like I was going around saying you're stupid and why can't you do this, and it wasn't like that. It was more actions that what I was doing took precedence, that a decision that I was making had more weight than something else, or that my needs were above the needs that they had. And somehow in the way that I went about my world, it became something that caused a problem. So now I see it. I'm aware of it. And I'm praying that God works the universe out so that I have another chance. Because I do. I desire to be with somebody I'm attracted to, that I'm in awe of, in admiration of what they've done and achieved in their life, the way their confidence is, their faults, their weaknesses. I want to live with someone who's real. And I'm doing this video so I can see and remember. Because this is the final stage of being broken and having stuff laid bare in front of me. For I do wish to have joy in a relationship that is worthy of the person in my life. So I will walk forward and recognize that God heals the brokenhearted. In Psalms, I actually took a screenshot of this today, and it says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalms 147:3. And I'm having another wound healed. And I'm praying for another chance. I'm praying for another chance. And I'll get to live it out with all of the men in my world. Because there are a lot of them in my world that I work with. that I'm playing with, that I'm talking to on a friend basis. A couple days ago, I did a video and it was talking about being shaken. I'll tell you the exact day it was on. Go to my channel. Listen to me go here. All right. Shaken. It was, let's see, this was on July 11th. So today is the 20th. So it was 9 days ago. And I had verses out of Acts 4:31 and 4:33. If you go back and listen to it, God was saying he was going to shake up all nations. And I hope that the queens in this world hear this message, because it's not about what everybody else is doing to us. It's about what we are doing here in the moment and how we show up. And I, for one, want to be in alignment in the moment and honor the other people that decide that they want to be in that moment with me, because they deserve that. So, emotion aside, I do love myself, and I love very deeply other people around me. And visibly, it's going to be different. I'm going to show up different, because I must. Because the men in my life are different than I am, and we complement each other beautifully. We'll recognize those differences and allow them to be who they are. So I didn't do a video this morning, and it's partly because of this, because I'm working it out in my body. I'm working it out, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity to do that. So say some prayers for me, if you wouldn't mind, that I'm at peace, and that these ahas integrate fully, and that I allow love and the consciousness of these revelations to integrate into my system so that I can move forward. I am a masterpiece, just as you are. And this picture will be a beautiful one for people to view in the future, and even right now. God bless.